Hello friends, my name is Raju. I am working as a lecturer in Government Polytechnic for Women, Warangal. In this lecture, we are first discussing about core materials. So, what core materials are used in inductors when we are fabricated? So, here soft magnetic materials that are used for constructing the core of inductor or transformer. These are classified into different types. First one, silicon iron alloy cores. Silicon iron alloy cores. The addition of silicon reduces eddy current and hysteresis losses in iron core because of increased resistivity. So, when you want to reduce eddy current, then we add the silicon material to the iron core. Then hysteresis loss in iron cores are increased resistively. Here more than 4% not to be added because of material the losses elasticity of and becomes quite brittle. So we want to reduce the hysteresis losses. Here we add the silicon, but we are not adding the silicon more than 4%. More than 4%. Next one, nickel iron alloy cores. Nickel iron alloy cores. To minimize losses, another popular core material is nickel iron alloy. Nickel iron alloy. Here the nickel content can vary from 35% to 75%, while some varieties additionally contain 5% copper and 2% chromium. 5% copper and 2% chromium. These alloys go by the name permoly, supermoly and mu metal. Next we are discussing ferrite cores. These cores are very popular for inductors. Ferrites made from nickel and zinc. The nickel and zinc are used in audio frequency and radio frequency applications. Audio frequency and radio frequency applications. Next we are discussing about powdered iron core. Powdered iron core. These cores are made from the material have low eddy currents at high audio frequencies. These can substitute for silicon iron laminations. Their permeability is low at high frequencies but high at low frequencies. These are used for IFTs in radio receivers. Next we are discussing about AF and RF chokes. AF and RF chokes, audio frequency chokes and radio frequency chokes. AF chokes, audio frequency chokes. Audio frequency chokes are generally iron core coils. In its construction, it has several hundreds of turns on iron core to give high inductance values. So these are AF chokes are iron core coils. It has several hundreds of turns, but these cores or these chokes suffer from saturation because of high inductance gap in the core. When we use audio frequency chokes, they get saturated. The reason behind saturation is high inductance gap in the core. High inductance gap in the core. So mostly these chokes are used in filters. What is meant by filter? It allows some band of frequencies and reject another frequencies. Filter chokes in receivers are modulation chokes. These are used in filter chokes or modulation chokes in transmitters. So here the typical values of audio frequency choke range from few hundred millihenries to 5 henries. Audio frequency chokes provide high impedance to audio frequencies. This provides high impedance to audio frequencies. Here the audio frequency range is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. So what is meant by AF chokes? AF chokes are used iron core. It have several hundred of turns. It have high inductance values, but these chokes are suffer from saturation. These are used mainly used in filters and modulation in transmitters. These are used in filters and modulation purpose in transmitters. These chokes range from millihenries to 5 henries. Millihenries to 5 henries. These are provide high impedance to audio frequencies from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Next we are discussing about radio frequency chokes. Radio frequency chokes uses either air or powdered iron core. These uses air or powdered iron core. Its coil consists of few turns to several hundred turns. These chokes have smaller inductance value then audio frequency chokes. These chokes have smaller inductance value than audio frequency chokes. These chokes are used to select desired radio frequency signal and reject all other with capacitor. These are used in prevent flow of radio frequency currents. So one of the application of the radio frequency chokes is it prevents the flow of radio frequency currents. Radio frequency chokes provides high reactance to radio frequencies. The radio frequency range is greater than 500 kHz. So briefly, the radio frequency chokes uses air or powder iron as a core. The coil consists of few tons to several hundred tons. These radio frequency chokes have smaller inductance value than audio frequency chokes. These chokes are used to select desired radio frequency signal and reject all other in conjunction with capacitor. Next we are compare the radio frequency and RF frequency chokes. So what are the main difference between radio frequency chokes and audio frequency chokes? Inductance value for audio frequency chokes is high. Inductance value for audio frequency chokes is very high. Inductance value for radio frequency chokes is very low. So if you want high inductance value, we use audio frequency chokes. Low inductance value, we use radio frequency chokes. Size of audio frequency chokes is big compared to radio frequency chokes. Audio frequency chokes have big in size compared to radio frequency chokes. Here in audio frequency chokes, we use iron as a core. In radio frequency chokes, we use air or ferrite as a core. Next we are discussing about applications of audio frequency chokes. The audio frequency chokes are used in DC regulated power supplies for providing pure DC signal, and these audio frequency chokes are used in filter circuits in TV receivers, used as filter circuits in radio receivers, used as filter circuits in TV receivers, used as filter circuits in radio receivers. These are used as modulation chokes in transmitters. Used in relays, and also these are used in audio and power transformers. Audio and power transformers. So what are the main applications of audio frequency chokes? Audio frequency chokes are used in DC regulated power supplies for providing pure DC signal, used as filter circuits in TV receivers, and these are used as filter circuits in radio receivers, used as modulation chokes in transmitters, used in relays, and also these are used in audio and power transformers. Audio and power transformers. Next we are discussing about applications of radio frequency chokes. Applications of radio frequency chokes. Radio frequency chokes are used in radio receivers, used in TV receivers, used in FM receivers, used in oscillators, used to select the desired radio frequency signal and reject all other frequencies in communication receivers. So what are the applications of radio frequency chokes? Radio frequency chokes are used in radio receivers, used in TV receivers, used in FM receivers, used in oscillators, used to select the desired radio frequency signal and reject all other frequencies in communication receivers. Next we are discussing about faults in inductors. Faults in inductors. First fault is open coil. If the winding of coil is broken at any point, the coil is said to be open. If the coil is broken, then the coil is said to be open coil. An open coil reads infinite resistance when it continuity is checked with an ohmmeter. So when we use the ohmmeter, it shows infinite resistance. When the open circuit is inside the winding, it is usually not practical to repair the coil. So the entire unit is replaced. In some cases, an open connection at the terminals can be replaced. It is open coil. Next one is open primary winding. When the primary of a transformer is open, no primary current can flow and there is no voltage induced in any of the secondary windings. When the primary of a transformer is open, no primary current can flow and there is no voltage induced in any of the secondary windings. Next we are discussing about open secondary winding, open secondary winding. When the secondary of transformer is open, it cannot supply power to any load resistance across the open winding. So here, if the secondary of winding is broken, then there is no power supply by the transformer to the load, because the secondary winding is broken, then there is no current flows. Transformer has several secondary windings, but an open winding in the secondary does not affect transformer operation of the secondary circuits that are normal. Next one is short across secondary winding. Short across secondary winding. If excess current flows in primary, the transformer gets heated and burns out primary winding The large secondary current has a strong field that opposes the flux of the self-induced voltage across the primary, making it draw more current from the generator. So these are the faults in the inductors. What are the faults? First one is open coil. If coil is open, then there is no current flows. It shows the infinite resistance. That is open coil. Next, open primary winding. If the primary winding is open, then there is also no current flows. This is the fault of the inductor. And open secondary winding. And last one is short across secondary winding. Next, we are discussing about transformer. Transformers. What is meant by transformer? A transformer is a device which operates an electromagnetic induction principle. It's a primary winding and it's a secondary winding. So here the transformer working principle is electromagnetic induction. The transformer working principle is electromagnetic induction. What is mean electromagnetic induction? When the current flows in the any coil, then it produces a flux. When the varying magnetic flux linked with any conductor, then there is a induced EMF produced. When alternating voltage is when alternating voltage is given to the primary winding, a similar nature of current called exciting current flows through it. The exciting current produces an alternating flux in the core which links both the windings. When the primary in the its transformers have two windings, primary winding and secondary winding, and it's have laminated core, primary winding and secondary winding, and it's have laminated core. Here core metal is iron core or alloyed steel. According to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, there will be self-induced EMF in the primary and mutual induced EMF in the secondary winding. When the current flows in the primary winding, it produces a magnetic flux that is called self-induced EMF. When this magnetic flux is linked with secondary winding, in the secondary winding also there is induced EMF is produced. This is called mutual induced EMF. In primary winding, EMF is produced. The EMF is called self-induced EMF. In the secondary winding also, EMF is induced due to primary winding flux. Due to primary winding flux, this EMF is called mutual induced EMF. Mutual induced EMF. Due to Lenz law, this primary induced EMF will oppose the applied voltage, and hence it is also known as back EMF. It is also known as back EMF. This back EMF will be equal and opposite to the applied voltage. Equal and opposite to the applied voltage. When the load is connected to the secondary current, a current will start flowing in the load in addition to the secondary mutual induced EMF. So the power is transferred from one circuit to another by electromagnetic induction. One circuit to another circuit by electromagnetic induction principle. Here mainly the transformer won't have any moving parts, hence it is said to be static device. What is a static device? There is no moving parts in the transformer, that's why it is called static device. So here finally the transformer is a static device. Transformer is a static device. Its work on the principle of electromagnetic induction. It's have the primary winding and secondary winding and core material. Here we use iron core. When the current is flowing in the primary winding, it produces a magnetic flux. This magnetic flux is flowing through the laminated core. It creates a magnetic circuit. Due to this flux in primary winding, there is an induced EMF produced. The EMF is called self-induced EMF. and the secondary winding also there is EMF is produced. This EMF is called mutual induced EMF. Mutual induced EMF. Thank you very much.